Well, hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Today's video is all about practice. Now, the weather outside right now is, as you can see, absolutely tipping down in the UK. Winter is here, which means that you guys might have access to a facility like this or a driving range, which hopefully has got a little bit of shelter. Well, I've had some questions coming in about practice. And what do I do when I actually get myself into a practice routine? What's my routine and what do I do in order to help improve my game? So in this video, we're going to take a little look at my golf bag, hit some balls in the studio and just go through 3 key points that I focus on when I'm practicing. So I've got TrackMan here in the studio. Some of you may have that, some of you won't have that, but if you don't have it, don't worry, because you've got a driving range which has hopefully got some targets. If you haven't got targets, just walk out there and put a target out there. I'm going to go with my 56-degree wedge, which is around the sort of 100-yard mark. And the reason I pick out my wedges is because I think the winter time is a great time to really focus on your wedge game, because this is the area of the game that really does help improve your golf. If you want to get your handicap just a few digits lower, then short game is absolutely critical. Nobody out there that's watching this video right now can tell me that they've got the best short game in the world and that it's the only thing that they rely on in order to help with their game. Don't take that as a knock. I'm just saying that the majority of golfers out there really do need to work on their short game and could actually help improve their overall scores throughout the season. So this is a great time to really focus on that. I always go with my 56 because it's kind of my go-to club just to get me going with. So 56-degree wedge. And what I'm kind of thinking about when I'm practicing this is, number one, the focus is to start with all about the most natural full swing that I've got with my 56-degree wedge. And that's the club that gets me out there to around 100 yards. Actually, on that particular one shot, I got it to 104 yards. And this is something you can think about when you're on the driving range as well, just dialing in. You'll be able to see from 100 yards exactly where that ball is kind of ending up. And the reason why I focus on this area of the game, certainly when the winter time and when I'm practicing, is because when I was about I would say like a 10 handicap golfer back in the day when I was a bit younger, I had a good chat with the head pro at this club at the time. And he was an England international back when he was an amateur golfer and a very solid professional golfer, certainly on the region. And he said to me, Dan, he said, if you want to get down to single figures, if you want to get down to that sort of category 1, which was a 5 handicap at the time, then it's all about wedge game. If you watch the top players in the world, they will be dialing in their numbers with their wedges all the time, to the point where they can even call out as soon as they've hit the shot exactly how far they've hit that one shot. Let's give that a go, shall we? So as I hit it, call the number, slightly pulled it, so I would say it's gone about 101 yards, 97. So what I'm doing there is I'm dialing in exactly what feels right to me and then what actually happens when it comes to the numbers. So what I would do in this situation now is I would work through my wedges. That's from my pitching wedge right the way to my lob wedge. I dial in my numbers when it comes to figuring out how far each of them go with a full shot. And then I might start working on what I call the clock face system, which is a system which enables us to take it to a certain point and then bring those numbers down and move those numbers around. What you should be able to do by the end of this winter is have, I think, if you could start off by having 2 different yardages with each wedge, that's definitely going to help your game going into this season. So moving up now from the wedges into my kind of mid irons, this is where I want to focus, not necessarily about how I'm hitting it or what I'm doing with my shots, which is obviously very important, but the next area that I'm really focusing on is my alignment. Now, if you go to a tour range, so go to a tour event and look at the players on the range, you are going to notice one key thing, other than the fact they've all got TrackMans and things like that nowadays, but one key thing that they really, really focus on, certainly with their caddies and their coaches, is their alignment. I'm just going to share with you just a little clip now from a shot that I hit when I was at the Vale of Glamorgan.
Lovely strike. Bit right though, towards that trap.
I think you just set up a bit extreme sometimes. I mean, you're thinking, I want to turn that in. You're aiming right trees there.
With what?
Like you're thinking, I'm going to draw this. So you're like, the setup gets quite extreme, I think. Like whereas If you set up to the right edge of the green there, to draw it.
But I think it's because my own alignment's a bit, as in,
A bit squiffy.
no, as in like I can't see it with my eyes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like to me, you look at that and go, oh, that wasn't a good shot. I'm looking at that going,
strike.
He's flushed it where he's aiming and it's turned over a touch, but he was just aiming 30 right of the green, like, just looked very extreme.
So as you can see from that clip there, I've had a little bit of a telling off by Joe the Pro, but the thing with it is that players like me, even though I should know that, that's something that just slips your mind. So from that kind of moment on, I've always really focused on my alignment, and it's pretty straightforward, making sure that you've got your feet and your shoulders pointing in the direction of where you're kind of trying wanting to go, or whatever type of shot shape that you're trying to hit. Now, you can use a club, and the reason I don't use a club and why these tour sticks started to come about back in the day was people would put clubs down and actually hit the heads of their clubs or hit the shaft and break clubs. So by having just something like this, a little tour stick, which you can pick them up for no money really in pro shops around, certainly around the world, but just making sure that you've got your alignment in the right place. And when I set up to my alignment, I'm focusing on like a train track system. So instead of just setting it up and pointing this stick or your feet at the target, I'm actually going to point it where the club face is going to be pointing at the target, and then I kind of want to be parallel to that position there. So as you look down this stick, it's going to be pointing, actually for me, slightly left of my target, as long as my face is pointing to my intended spot that I want to try and get it to. So making sure that we've got our feet into the right spot is the first port of call. So once I'm in this position, I can now go ahead and trust that I've got my alignment exactly where I want it. And then hopefully we should see that ball heading down towards the target. A bit of a block by the look of that one. But what you're also going to notice is when you set up with a stick down by your feet here, as you look up, you're going to get a sense of whether you feel that you're either aiming a little bit right or a little bit left of your intended target. So once I'm in this position, for me personally, it feels like my feet are actually aiming way left of what I would normally do. And you saw from that video of how I've kind of fallen into a bit of a rut of aiming down the right-hand side. So for me, aiming just that sense of aiming a little bit further down the left-hand side and through like that. There you go. That one's a bit pulley, that one, but a little bit of army golf going on here at the moment. But again, really, really important that you make sure if there's one thing you're going to focus off this winter, is get your alignment absolutely spot on going into the season. The other thing that's really important when it comes to practicing is ultimately working on the drills that you and your coach have worked with. For me, I've been working with HackMotion for pretty much the whole of 2025, coming into 2026, trying to use it to get a better understanding of how my wrists work, certainly throughout my golf swing, but more importantly, how I can get them to the top of the swing and keep it a little bit more bowed at the top. I'm somebody that's always fallen into the kind of area of being very kind of cupped at the top, which gets that face into a more open position at the top, and then I have to fight it on the way down. So this is something that I have to really work hard on to continue to improve my game. So I will go through the process once I've hit a few balls and got myself fully warmed up of now focusing on the drills that I need to work on to improve my game. I calibrate the HackMotion system, get it into position, and then I'll just hit 5 or 6 shots just to try and understand exactly where I am at that particular point. And the first port of call that I definitely need to work on when it comes to those wrist positions, getting them in a better position at the top there, and you can see on the screen record here, is that at address, I'm trying to get myself into more of a neutral position. I'm looking at the screen and I'm reacting to how it feels to me. So in that position there, once I'm here ready to fire, I know that I need to get that butt of that club more towards kind of like my left hip position. But the great thing about working with this system is that I can just keep an eye on it in the corner of my eye once I'm in that setup place, getting it into what I feel is more neutral. And once I'm there and comfortable in that 0 position, then I can pull the trigger. And the thing with it, my bad shot has always been, well, I suppose I've always fought the hook. It's been my bad kind of swing and working the club on the inside, flipping the hands. But my hands have always flipped because of the position that I've got my wrists in at the top, which has always been my problem. So getting myself into this position, trying to keep myself more neutral then throughout the swing is really, really key. And I've got to say, even just on that swing there, and having done this for a little while, it felt really quite hooded at the top because I'm trying to get the bowed position into the, well, a neutral position for me. So again, when I say about using drills and using devices that can help with your game, I'm a big believer in using these things because, you know, a lot of it is what feels right to us. Feel and real. If I didn't have this device sort of with me to work with, you know, I might be heading down the wrong path. That's a better shot, bit high out of the face, but felt really quite nice at the top of the swing. Last swing. Yeah, that was the best one yet. That felt really, really nice. Straight down my target line. So really getting the sense of, as I said, what feels right to what then is reality. So the great thing again, I can go back to the app, take a little look at the full summary of exactly what I've done, and it's telling me that I'm at +2 to extended. Well, actually that's a really good number for me because in the past I've always been kind of closer to +10 to extended. So I'm definitely getting myself moving in the right direction. Just gives me some benchmarks. The great thing again, if I go into full summary here, it tells me the areas that I need to kind of focus on. And then it also has some recommended drills for me to focus on as well. So if you are using a coach, fantastic. Work with the coach, with the stuff that you've got, the stuff that you use on the range. You can't have that coach stood behind you the whole time. So having a system like HackMotion can certainly help. Well, it's helping with my game and it can certainly help with yours. So there you go. There are 3 key points that I focus on when I'm doing my practice to keep my game in tune. And the one thing that I also want you to consider is don't hit too many balls in one session. It's really important to make sure you don't wear yourself out when you're hitting golf balls and going through your golf bag. So hit anything between 30 and 50 balls at any one time. Give yourself a bit of a break in between. And the last thing that I want to say is don't forget, if you are new to the channel, make sure you consider hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you again on the next video.